I'm Peter Hill-Smith. I've spent most of my life in trade on the island, involved in hotels, restaurants, cafes, and in later years coaches and taxis on the island. I have massive fluid retention, no sense, well, the nerves have all gone from the knees down, amputation of all the toes apart from the big toes, and massive weight gain because of fluid, not food, thank goodness. I live on a diet of under 1,000 calories a day. All this affects my heart and the other organs, which confines me to a wheelchair 90% of the time. Transportation isn't great for disabled people on the island because of the style of ramps used on the local buses and the narrow curbs with very little space for people with disabilities and disabled vehicles to actually wait for these vehicles. There is generally a shortage of lowered pavement edges on the island. I will admit Ronnies are very good. When you see them doing works anywhere, you ask them and they will put little bitumen ramps up and down on the pavements, which tend to stay after they've finished, which makes life easier, not just for wheelchair and buggy users, but for people pushing prams. I do use the wheelchair taxi, which takes me out to the doctors and medical appointments. I want to try and keep my independence and do my own thing. I know there's Ron Short and people like that will take you out and carry you around and do this and that, but in one way it takes away your independence of doing it because you're reliant on somebody else. If they had an integrated strategy, the roads would be more clear, it would be far easier to move around. As you increase the bus service on the island, you will also increase the ability of more disabled people to use them. We suffer with things you can't change, narrow pavements and so forth, which means if you're in a wheelchair like this, quite often there's very little space for you to wait for a bus, but you can find a gateway or something to hide in perhaps, or whatever. The proper buses with automatically sliding out ramps would be a better improvement, and with flat floors, not with the step system you've got at the moment. Whereas I know it costs a bit more to have specially made vehicles, but they can be made to fit the islands. They're made to fit Devon and Cornwall, so why don't we go to those manufacturers and find them?